In a year that's been dominated by horror movies with all these original and fresh ideas, it's fantastic to finally see someone have an original take on a very popular sci-fi franchise. Let's take a look at Predator Badlands. Predator Badlands, directed by Dan Trachtenberg from 10 Cloverfield Lane, from Prey. Dan is a fantastic, solid, high quality director, and this was Dan's ability to flex, having a much bigger budget, expanding the lore of the Predator universe. Oh, and based on what you've already seen in the trailers, also incorporating a well-known, beloved franchise into this universe as well, the Alien franchise. If you know me and you've seen my reviews, you know I try to go in as blind as possible. I knew very little about this plot getting into it, and I must say, I hope you do the same because I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Let's talk about what I liked about this movie. This movie is a straightforward popcorn flick. The action scenes are intense. The visual effects are stunning. Not trying to throw any shade to anybody else, but I kept thinking to myself, why can't Star Wars movies look this good and feel this refreshing? I say that because we visit this planet, Genna, and it's a planet in which everything's trying to kill you. Literally. The trees, the plants, the bugs. You'll see. I gotta give credit where credit is due. This film, what it does so well is it introduces us to a very believable planet with all these very different and dangerous life forms. The creative team must have had a ball coming up with some of these concepts. So right off the bat, when it comes to the visuals, when it comes to this planet and all the life forms that you see on it and how creative the team got when it came to designing these creatures, you got to give them solid A. When it comes down to a sci-fi movie, this movie checks off all the boxes. If you go into this thinking you're going to see a straightforward Predator movie, I think that's where you might set yourself up for disappointment. Predator movies have always been different. They've been more like horror movies because you had this creature that was hunting humans and there was decapitations and there was blood and gore. And he actually hunted people and you could see the fear on their faces while they're coming face to face sometimes with this predator or this invisible killing machine. This movie is different. You're not going to see a predator facing humans on Earth, hunting in the shadows. That's not what this is about. I'll give a few details, but I really want to keep the major plot points a secret for those of you folks who don't want to get spoiled. So Dek is our lead character. He is a part of a Yautja clan. They've always had these traditions and he's always had the chip on his shoulder, so he's really trying to make a name for himself. He gets to this planet where he comes across this synthetic named Thea from the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, and the movie takes off from there, and it really turns into a very fun, entertaining, almost a buddy cop film. You've never really seen a predator get into this sort of space. It's almost like a fish out of water in the sense that they can't communicate on the same wavelength all the time. He doesn't have any sort of sense of humor and he doesn't have any way of expressing sarcasm. She, on the other hand, is a synthetic from Earth and she has all these sensibilities because she's a little bit of a different type of synthetic. You put the two of them together, have them trek across this dangerous planet, and it's actually quite a good time. There's a lot of banter back and forth and it's honestly quite entertaining. It's engaging, really. You can't help but think to yourself, I've never seen this type of scenario before with this predator. And it doesn't stop there because you're going to see time and time again him being put into situations and scenarios where he's having to do things that are sort of out of the ordinary for their species, and it's quite engaging for the audience. This dynamic allows for some dry humor, some witty one-liners to come into play, and it's refreshing. You haven't seen this before, really, in a movie involving a predator. So, I liked it. I enjoyed it. The entire audience I was with is chuckling. They're having a good time. Everybody's into it. And that was sort of the achievement of this film was that you're putting this individual, this species into situations that we are not familiar with, that we are not privy to. We are going to be emotionally invested in a predator for the first time because of what he's experiencing, what his emotions are, what his motivations are. It's not exactly humanizing him, but it is allowing the audience to relate to him on some sort of level, which allows us, again, to be more invested in this story as opposed to seeing a predator just going around killing a bunch of no-name earthlings. It's a great action adventure. It honestly feels like it should have been a Star Wars movie. Dan Trachtenberg should direct at least one time a Star Wars movie because he's killing it in this one. The action sequences are great, the fight scenes are great, they're very creative, they're very unique. It's wonderful because he has this blank canvas, this planet that we're on where everything's trying to kill you. He's making up all these creatures, he's making up the environments. Everything can be different and can be unique, and that's what's fun about this, and it's great. And it comes up time and time again. If there are any expectations you have for this film, just know that you're going to get a solid sci-fi film, you're going to get a solid action film, and then you might get surprised with the other things that are additional to it. The sort of wholesome moments that may or may not pop in from time to time, the witty humor and the banter that keeps you engaged throughout, the plot twists, because there are a few in here that, hey, even I didn't see coming. And just incorporating the Weyland-Yutani Corporation into this film seamlessly, it doesn't feel forced at all. It just feels like this is a natural story that you're coming upon. If I'm going to rate this film, I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's a solid flick. It does everything it wants to. It executes all the elements it's aiming for. And I still think there's room for improvement as Dan Trachtenberg and team still build upon this universe that they're creating. This movie takes off from the very beginning, no pun intended, and I think you're going to enjoy it thoroughly as I did. I want to know what you guys thought about it. Drop your thoughts on the movie in the comments. Have a great night, folks. Hope you enjoy the film. Be sure to follow us on social media because we have a lot of movies that we're giving advanced screening passes to. So follow us on Facebook or Insta, and we will see you soon.